What is going on, gamers? In today's video, I will be giving you 10 heroes that I personally would like to see added into Marvel Rivals. But before I begin, if you guys love Marvel Rivals content, then you are in the right place. I do gameplay, character ability breakdowns, as well as videos like this. I even made one about 10 villains that I would like to see added into the game. It will be linked in the description down below, so go check it out. If you can, please like this video. It would really support the channel, as well as hit that subscribe button if you're not already, and turn on all post notifications so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. But let's get straight into our first hero. Okay, for our first hero, I'm going to put Gambit. He's most well known in the X-Men 97 TV show that recently came out on Disney+, as well as he was featured in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie that came out last year, played by Channing Tatum. He is a really cool character, and he basically, for his powers, has a master of kinetic energy. He does use like a deck of cards and basically infuses them with a lot of kinetic energy. He's able to like throw them at people, and then he can charge them up and create small like explosions due to the kinetic energy building up, and then it just releases. It's really cool. He also does have like a bow staff that he uses to fight and move around with. He has really insane agility. He could potentially be added as like another dive character. You know, it just hops in and hops out pretty easily. They would obviously have to implement the cards in there and do like little explosives. If they stick to someone, you know, they could just explode after being on them for a certain amount of time. Like if you land like 2 or 3 in a row, then they start to build up, and then it will explode and do a lot more damage than if you just hit one. I think that Marvel Rivals could come up with a really cool design for this character. There's even a fan-made concept of him that I'll put on the screen right here. It's really awesome, really cool, and I think that he would be a great addition into Marvel Rivals. All right, our next hero is Silver Surfer, and this character is really interesting because he basically starts off as a villain, and I put villain in air quotes just because he's forced to work with Galactus, the destroyer of worlds or eater of worlds. He has cosmic energy manipulation. He rides around on his surfboard, his silver one. That's why he's called Silver Surfer, which is really cool. He basically gains all his powers from that thing. And so he would just be a flying character, can move around pretty quick. He can shoot like beams from his hands at people. He also can absorb a lot of ability. I don't know how they could implement that into the game per se. Maybe the more that he gets hit, like the more damage he deals out, that could be something. He does have superhuman strength. He's really strong, and he does have like space manipulation. So maybe his ultimate could be like forming a black hole and like sucking all the enemies in, maybe similar to Jess, but instead of like eating them, you know, it absorbs all the enemies and then does like a ton of damage that they can't get away from. So that could be something. It could be cool if someone used like Invisible Woman's ult, and then you end up using the black hole inside that, so all the enemies in there just get absorbed. So that could be really interesting, and I think that he would be a really great addition. They are adding all of the Fantastic Four. We're getting Thing and Human Torch later in the season. He would be basically one of the last Fantastic Four characters to be added in, so I think that would be really fun. All right, up next is going to be Antman. I mean, you can definitely argue for him to be a duelist, but you could also come up with some idea for him to be a Vanguard as well. You know, he can be Giant Man. The problem is he's like insanely huge, so that won't really work. Maybe that could be something for his ultimate. They would have to implement him shrinking down as well, which kind of goes against the idea of him being a Vanguard, but I just think we need more Vanguards, and he could fit in that way. They would just have to come up with some cool ideas. When he's small, he does still keep all his strength. I think just for the simplicity of the game, he could maybe just turn ginormous and just stomp his foot on all the enemies, and that could be pretty much it. It's like a one-hit thing, and then he shrinks back down to normal size. It would be pretty difficult to do, I think, anything else with him, but I'm sure that they could come up with a lot more stuff, and he would be really awesome to be added into Marvel Rivals, so I hope they do. All right, up next we have Blade. Blade is actually one of those characters that is in the lore of Marvel Rivals already. He just hasn't been added. I'm pretty sure he has officially been confirmed to be coming into the season, or maybe into the next one. But this whole season is like vampires and all that, and he of course fits perfectly into that category. He basically has all the powers of a vampire, super strength, agility, but he doesn't have like the weakness of being in the sun. He is trained in most of the martial arts, and then he obviously has his classic blade that would be used for most of his combat. He could probably have a throwing ability where he throws daggers or something at enemies to give him a little bit of range, but they have not said anything about when he would come into the game. If they have, let me know down in the comments below, but I cannot wait for him to join, and he will most likely be a duelist, but that's okay. He would still be a great addition into the game. Our next hero is going to be Vision. Now, they could go one or two ways for him. He could either be a Vanguard because he has so much durability. He's insanely strong. If they wanted to add another Vanguard into the game, they could easily choose Vision. Or they can go out of having him be a strategist, kind of like Ultron will be, because he's already been confirmed. I did talk about that in my 10 villains video. He would probably be a flying character, so he might be the first flying strategist if they do go that route, or Ultron might be a flying strategist as well. He does have intangibility, which basically means he can not go invisible, but if someone tried to hit him, he can go intangible and they would just punch right through. So they could implement that into his gameplay. He could have like a blast with the Mind Stone where he just shoots, or has like a ray, like a beam that he shoots out. And even probably the Mind Stone could have some of the healing capabilities, which is how they implement him as a strategist, or they could just make him big and beefy and turn him into a Vanguard. And then our next hero is Nightcrawler. Again, this is one that there's already been some concepts and even some rumors floating around that he's going to be joining the roster very soon. I'll have the concept up on the screen. This is not official, it's just fan made, but it does look really cool and is in par with the style of Marvel rival characters already. Nightcrawler has teleportation abilities. He has a really long tail with like a pointy end on it. They would probably have to implement that to give him a little bit of range. And he's just a really cool character, and I think that they could come up with some really cool teleportation stuff, either for his ultimate or just some abilities. He can move probably insanely fast, probably climb up on walls and stuff. And I think that he would be a great addition and another X-Men added to the game. And he would be a duelist as well. Our next hero is going to be Jean Grey. Now, this is going to be another X-Men added to the game. And again, and just like Nightcrawler, there's already been rumors of her being added very soon. So we might get that and we might not. Maybe the next season theme can revolve around X-Men to where they would add a bunch of them in. She does have telepathy. I don't know how that they would implement that into her gameplay, but telekinesis, definitely. She can move things with her mind. She can also manipulate the Phoenix Force, which is one of the most powerful things in the Marvel Comics and the MCU. And so that could probably be her ultimate, to where she taps into the Phoenix Force and becomes the Phoenix. Potentially like wipe out the whole team, similar to Scarlet Witches. If you're in the vicinity, you're basically just poof gone. And yeah, there's a lot of cool X-Men characters that they could fit into Marvel Rivals. They already have some, but she would be a great addition. I think she would probably be a duelist, but you could also, I think, make her a strategist. Hopefully she gets added, and then we could see kind of what they do with her. And then after Jean Grey, we have the hero Quicksilver. This is the twin brother of Scarlet Witch, and he basically just has super speed, can move insanely fast, similar to the Flash in the DC comics. It would be really fun to see how Marvel Rivals implements a speedster into the game. Probably for his ultimate, he can just like run around them, maybe create like a tornado, or just go around and hit everyone and do a bunch of damage on the whole entire team if they're within like a specific vicinity. But he could be really cool. He could probably move around really quick like Iron Fist and just, punch everyone, start kicking them like crazy. He would probably be a dive character because, move in, do some damage, and then move out. And then it would complete the Scarlet Witch family because, their dad is Magneto, and then obviously his sister Scarlet Witch, and he would be in the game. So that would be really cool, and I hope they add him in one day. All right, and then our second to last hero is going to be Cyclops. Again, this is another X-Men character. He is basically like the leader of the X-Men, at least on the field. I mean, because Professor X is like the official leader, and then Cyclops on the battlefield leads all of them. For his powers, he's got that ray beam that he shoots out of his eyeballs. He is a skilled fighter, but they would really have to hammer down on his ray ability, and to use it from a distance, I think, would be the best option. For his ultimate, he could probably do something to where he just has like a ginormous ray blast that goes down, maybe even similar to Iron Man's a maximum pulse. It just destroys everyone so fast. That's pretty much all of his power, so they would have to get really creative in how they could utilize his abilities. But he is a really cool X-Men character, and I really hope to see him one day added into the game. All right, and then our last hero is going to actually be Daredevil. His concept art is the one that you saw on the thumbnail, and I'll have it on the screen right here. Daredevil is one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Comics. He is blind. He's a lawyer when he's not being Daredevil. He basically was blinded at a young age, got some chemicals in his eyes that not only blinded him, but it enhanced all of his senses to where he can hear really good, smell, and taste. But he can just basically smell and hear everything, and he sees almost better than we do. So he's a really cool character. He's like a master at martial arts. He has a lot of agility in the comics, can bounce around like really fast, and he's just super cool. Disney is making a brand new show about him. I'll probably have some footage of it on the screen, but he's just a really cool character, and his main weapon is like his billy clubs that he has. And he does like to throw it at people, so that could be one of his ranged attacks. And he would probably be a dive duelist as well, because he's really good at just hopping in. His agility allows him to just hop out quick from battles. And he's definitely the hero that I would love to see most added into Marvel Rivals. I think that they could come up with a sweet design. I seriously love all the designs of all the heroes. I think that the Marvel Rivals team, whoever designs them, does an insanely good job. And so he would be really, really cool. And if they do add him, I would probably main him just because he's one of my favorite heroes, again, in the comics. And I love the Daredevil show that they had on Netflix. Now it's going to be on Disney. But guys, if you got to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching this far. If you have not already, please like the video and subscribe so that you don't miss out on anything. If you guys want to check out some of my other Marvel Rivals content, including my 10 villains list that I would like to see added, it will be linked right here. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.